What a bully! Scott Arfield! He's been threatening that recently. And all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end.
Burnley win the next ball. Here's Rory now. On the outside. Decent.
Barnes! He got it! Ashley Barnes with it! What a cross from Rory! And there was Ashley Barnes! And Burnley leading the derby.
Knocks it quickly. Finds Benson in space at the byline. Can Burnley get a goal here? Back for Brownell. Saved by the keeper!
Burnley won it to the end! That is magnificent! They deserve that!
On it by Paul Patella. Off for a hat-trick.
He's got it! Hat-trick for Nathan Teller! Oh, he's on fire at the minute! 3-0 Burnley! It's Nathan Teller's day!
And Burnley are 3 off here. Fantastic derby. Here's Benson. Can he go on the outside? Comes inside. He's have a shot.
Oh, the goal! Manuel Benson once more! That is top class! Burnley have done it! Fantastic! Clarets deserve the championship title. They've been the best side throughout the campaign. Burnley have won the second tier. What a fantastic achievement. The players have been magnificent.
Hello everyone and welcome along to the latest episode of the Turfcast podcast, full-time show, the first episode of the brand new season. You've got your Sunday mornings back. We are back with the full-time show every Sunday morning, if and where, depending on schedules. So this might be the only Sunday morning one that we ever do this season, but it's usually Sunday mornings. But as you can see, the lads are here. Nathan, good to see you, mate. How are you doing?
Good morning, I'm fantastic. Had a nice little lie-in this morning.
Happy days. And Sam, how are you, mate?
Absolutely cracking.
Happy days. Happy days. Expecting more from you there, Sam. Caught me a bit short, to be honest. I'm not going to lie.
I haven't had my coffee yet. I've got it here.
Fair enough. And I've got my brew as well, so happy days. Nathan, you got anything? Or
I've just finished it. I've got an empty mug, so I'll pretend. I'll just do it for dramatic effect through the...
Yeah, do it for the effect. Straight in there with the comments, Chris P says... Luca Bacchio is surely still happening. Think the rumour is straight. Well, the rumour came from me, mate, and I can promise you now it's not happening. It's done. He's going somewhere else. That's all I can say at the minute. I've been told not to say. I think I've already said too much, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I hope I am wrong. But I'm usually not when this guy tells me stuff. But let's get into the City match then. Sam, I'll start with you. Let's get your creative juices flowing. You're struggling a little bit there in the intro. So City, 3-0 defeat. Your thoughts on the match, mate?
I think we were really good the first half. I think despite, a Norwegian powerhouse scoring a fantastic second goal, I think that first game came out of nowhere. And I think we always do that against City. I think we've conceded, is it in the last 3 games, we've conceded in the first 5 minutes, like at Turf Moor. Like, it happens. They're a good team. They can unlock any team. It doesn't matter if you're Liverpool. It doesn't matter if you're Man United. They can still score in the first 5 minutes. So that's no issue. It just means you're not ready to go at a team as good as that. Then, until they scored the second goal, I thought we were brilliant. We were pressing the ball. He got away a couple of times. Still now, after that Brighton game, think that was a penalty, because that is absolutely scandalous that Brighton got a penalty for way less.
I'm not saying that, to be honest. The Brighton
No,
one. I've seen ours, not seen the Brighton one, sorry.
Genuinely, watch it. Luton get a penalty for a handball where his arm's like back here and he can't move his arm at all because he's diving to stop the cross. And then I think it's João Pedro falls over with a gust of wind and gets a penalty. So
Classic.
Arm on the back should have a penalty. But yeah, all in all, pleased with the performance. I think the way that we played will beat a couple of teams in the Premier League this season. So nothing to worry about yet. Our season's not defined on Man City at home.
Yeah, I agree. I thought we started slow, but as you say, it's City. They just come out of the traps quicker than us. It's City. They can do it to anybody. Defending weren't great for the first one, but I just think we were just a little bit, like you say, just not out of the blocks yet, not starting well. The second one was just a great finish. I've not seen it back yet, to be honest, but I remember thinking at the time, like, fuck's sake, Haaland, great finish. Yeah. And third one, probably should have done better with the bobbling around in the box, but as soon as it was bobbling around in the box, I just knew it was going in because of the quality that they have. got no real issues. I thought we responded well to the first goal, and like Sam said, we played really well in the first half. Did very well to keep them out until Haaland, the freak of nature, scored a brilliant goal. And then second half, they were a lot better. We weren't as good. Trafford really kept the score down. I think for me, I thought Trafford played well. We'll get onto individuals in a bit, but Nathan, what were your thoughts on the match?
No, you both summarised it pretty similarly, really. I say I've not been that positive about a 3-0 defeat probably ever. I walked away from that game and thought we're going to be absolutely fine here. You know what I mean? We've just played, just come off the back of, playing against the treble winners, best team in the world at the minute. Even if they're at 75%, 50%, they're still ahead of us, by a country mile. So a 50%, quality Man City team, which it wasn't, by the way. It was still a fucking strong team. It was still a bloody strong team. You know what I mean? But no, I thought we pressed really well. I thought we stuck to our game plan really well, and we didn't press really well, which I noticed that pretty clear that they had the ball. The keeper had the ball, Edison, and he was just waiting for something to happen, but we just stood still. We didn't do. It wasn't like in a old school 4-4-2 rigid way. It was just they stood on their mans and they waited for that first pass for that trigger to happen, and they were so regimented. And for such a young, Premier League inexperienced squad to stick to that plan so well and not get caught up in the emotion and the Friday night lights and playing against the big boys, I thought. I was just really, really impressed. A lot of individuals stood out, and as a collective, I think we're fine. And I said the other day that we play like that, we're going to be fine. We're going to beat some dross in this league, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, and by dross, I think we mean Everton and Sheffield United. Speaking of Sheffield United, Jamie Wotton says, "What morning, lads, watching from Sheffield." I'm not sure if you're a Sheffield fan, mate. I just saw Sheffield in there, and then the clear blade sign. So just thought I'd get that in. Apologies if not. Just to talk, before we go on to the positives, left back was clearly an issue. We've known that all summer. Obviously, we want to get Martson, or wanted, as Chris says in the comments. I'll just bring it in now. Nixon claiming we're still chasing Martson, but clearly Chelsea don't want to let him go. Just move on and find somebody else. Yeah, I agree with that. I think if Poch wants him in his plans, and not to name drop, but I was on the overlap last week, and Rory Jennings was on there proper talking about how good Martson's been in pre-season and stuff like that, and how impressed he's been and how much he wants him in the side. Excuse me. A lot of Chelsea fans saying they'd have him over Cucurella. So I agree. I think it's. I think it's dead in the water, that one.
Yeah, I think the price tag's just creeping up in it now. I heard it were like 15, and then it went up to like 18, and then it's all of a sudden I saw a number like 25 they want for him. So I mean, if it's a deal we can get done on a permanent, I think if we can get it done, and I think we should get it done because he's still young, he's quality, he's got a big ceiling ahead of him. But if it's not going to get done, let's just park it and move on. I've heard a few murmurings of some loans elsewhere off other Premier League teams, so. Hopefully we can get one in over the line pretty sharpish, because we were pretty. We did all right in the end, but it still looked pretty exposed, didn't it, down that side?
It did. I didn't think Vitinho played, but I think, excuse me, I think Vitinho started. I'd rather have, and I know this is suddenly a big controversial opinion amongst Burnley fans, but I'd rather have Charlie Taylor there ahead of Vitinho. I just think he's a better defender. Vitinho's probably better at going forward, but Charlie's not bad at going forward. I just think Vitinho's probably got more positional sense. I think is the thing there.
People like to jump on this thing now because it's quite weird, actually. So, like, when we were in the Premier League the first time, our two most creative players were Charlie Taylor crossing the ball into the box to Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes and whoever, and Dwight McNeil. Now we've seen the other side of it, where you actually have a creative player. Like, Maatsen was very creative for a fullback, and Teller, Zaruri, Benson, all these very creative players. So now the opinion of what a creative player has changed, but Charlie Taylor is still very capable of getting forward and getting back, because he was up and down in the Premier League before. The only reason he didn't play last season was because Company tried a new system with a left back that hit the ground running and was brilliant. Like, who knows, if Maatsen didn't play well in that first game, Charlie Taylor could have been his left back all season. We don't know. So I wouldn't be opposed to that either, but I do think it's a position that we need to sort out, because Vitinho was cut out so much defensively.
100%. Fernandez, as Chris P does point out in the comments, is a target. I have seen that as well. We have put that on the website as well. He would be good. He played at Preston last season. We've heard some other rumours as well. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I don't even know if you're allowed to say it, Nathan, but you told me earlier.
Yeah. No, I've heard a rumour. Been told Rico Lewis is a possibility.
That's it, yeah.
I believe it's a possibility. It all depends, I think, if City brings somebody in for that position.
Yeah.
But I think a loan, obviously not a permanent. I think it could be a deal that can be done, I think, there.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's chat about some of the new lads then, some individuals. Standout performances. I thought Trafford played very well. I thought Zeki Amdouni linked up quite well. Foster played well, but he's not a new lad.
No. He played like one. I didn't see that last season.
What was it?
Burge.
What's the Italian-American lad called?
Colliosho.
That's him, yeah. He played very well. I nearly called it Luke Bukiaki. I'm like, that's the guy who just said he's not coming. Berg as well. Berg slotted in well. I thought the standout for me was Trafford. I thought he made some brilliant saves. Passed it out back from the back. A couple of times where he nearly got caught out, but like I said on the full-time reaction, because I've done a 60-second review, full-time reaction, now a full-time show because we are caning it.
Yeah.
That there was a little bits where he was a little bit unsure and then brought the press on and caught us out a little bit. But I expect that for his first few times. Nathan, what are your standout performances from the Netherlands?
On Trafford, you got to forget, like the argument for him not to play was he's come from League One straight to the Premier League, so you've also got to allow him a bit of grace period that his first game as a professional footballer in the Premier League as against the best team in the world, his own club. So there's going to probably be a few, jitters and stumbles. But on the whole, he were class. The 3 goals, I thought, there's not much he could have done. Like the first goal, it's come from him at 5 yards out. When there's no space around Haaland whatsoever, he has no right to get that shot away because 2 players have closed him down quick enough. Second goal, I don't think we might not see. If we see a better goal than that, I think we're going to be in for some absolute treats at Turf Moor if we're going to see better goals than that at Turf Moor. Because first time, didn't even look at the net, whacked it in top bins from that far out at that angle. No keeper saving that. Third goal, bit of a mishmash, so you get lost in them as a keeper. But no, other standouts. Lau Foster, I know he's not a new guy, but he played like a new signing. He were immense, like absolutely immense. We were sort of, towards the back end of last season, we were sort of like banking on him coming good, weren't we? We were saying, no, let's just give him time. Give him time. He's had a rough couple of months to settle, and he's not had training. But 6 weeks, 8 weeks pre-season with Vincent's done. He's turned him into a bit of a baller, to be honest. And he looks good. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Sander Berge as well. He were class. It looked like he'd played, like I think Vincent actually said, it looked like he'd played with us for years. He just looked like he were pulling a caravan after about 72 minutes, didn't he? So I think fitness levels will kick in. But yeah, on the whole, everyone were good. Koleosho was good. Neil's the president of the Muric fan club. I am the president of the Luka Koleosho fan club. I'm claiming that one. That kid is going places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played well. And my only issue with him is just his decision making. But he's 18, 19. It'll come.
What decisions did you make that were good at 18?
Quite a lot, actually. Quite a lot. But it'll come good. It'll come good with that. You can see like the term like rough diamond. You can see there's a player in there, and he will come good. Sam, your standout players from the new lads. Who do you think stood out?
Just say if you want to be the president, I'll be the vice president because I also think he was unbelievable. I think he had a fantastic performance. He's running with the ball. He's really good. But like you say, Joe, I said it in our chat the other day. Like he's literally just his decision making. Like he always looked like he could beat his man. He had Ake on the outside 2 or 3 times, and he just showed too much of the ball, and he allowed where he had so much more space to just take it with him. And instead, he was like showing him the ball, and we ended up losing the ball. He had good presence on the ball, though. I thought I kept saying, we were watching it with all my mates down here, and they were all laughing, saying like, "Oh, what he's doing, what a footballer does, wanting to get on the ball." But some people against City can go missing. They can literally go hiding and not want to take part in the game. He was willing to get on the ball and just turn and go. Turn and play the ball. So I thought he had a brilliant performance. We have to talk about Zeki Amdouni. That kid is absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. What a game he had. Like, you're playing against the best defence in the league. Like, you're playing against the best team in the league with the best manager in the league who have had the most proven tactics in the league for the last 5 years. boring City, good team, but very boring. And Zeki was breaking the lines, hitting the press, winning the ball back high up the pitch, you know, winning free kicks. He was doing brilliant. And against lesser teams, that will be unstoppable. And I think we've got a real gem on his hands there.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys as well. Shout out to Lyle Foster, he was really good. You know, but
I wanted to ask you about Lyle Foster, because you were quite outspoken about him last year, weren't you? Saying you don't think he'll be good at. But you weren't the only one, to be fair. I'm not criticizing. I just want to see how you felt compared to how you felt last year on his performance. Do you think he's come on? Do you think he's now be good enough for the Prem, or he's still hoping he'll come forward a bit more rather than going deep?
I think. Trying to think now. So I think there is a player there, because we wouldn't have paid the money for him, because Alan Pace isn't stupid, neither is company. Definitely not. The majority of signings that they've made have been brilliant. Bellamy coming out and saying that he's been working with him on his timing of his runs. Yeah, I think that's his biggest flaw. I think his press has always been good. We saw that in the cup games where he was winning the ball back, but his decision making in front of goal was terrible. Tried to chick the keeper and hit the chest. You know, he only scored one goal. He only scored one goal against Wigan, who got relegated. They were rubbish. So based on the Championship performance, I think I rightly was a bit sceptical about how moving up in stature of teams and things like that, how he might not progress. I think his ability to win the ball back was brilliant. I think his duels one-on-one were fantastic. Yeah. But the one thing that I would want to say is, going on all the players that I've signed for us, if you've watched the documentary, Company knows exactly step by step in his training regime and the style of play that he wants to play, exactly when it clicks for each player. He said it, he's like, right, so it'll probably click about there. And he's watching a trajectory and he's like, this is how better we get. And it'll hit about there. Last season, he came in the January transfer window. He barely played for ages. Then he got given his opportunities at the end of the season and he wasn't quite there. We played rubbish for about 15 games. We drew every game for about 15 games. And then we won 20 games on bounce. He's just in the same situation as like a Sander Berge will be now, and all these good players. Give them time and it will click again and they'll all be ready. And we're just going to...
And we'll win the league.
Yeah. Well, you touched on the documentary, and I'm sorry for spoiling it if anyone's not seen it, but there's a little scene in there.
If you've not seen it by now, it's your own fault.
What are you doing? There's a scene where the investors and the board are chatting with Vincent, and they sort of, they sheepishly criticise, but Company don't then go sort of like, I'm paraphrasing, but why have you not played Foster yet? And Company's like, chill out. Like literally just like steady on, like it's fine. It will come good. Like, and it's evident, like he's obviously broke that 130 hour mark or whatever that he that, you know, and it's just clicked for him now. And like I say, he's done that again. He's played against a very, very good City team. Like I still think a lot of fans online and anyway are still underestimating how in good City are. Like, them boys weren't even 100% yesterday, and and I thought we'd give them a good go. You know what I mean? And
first half, especially after the first goal, I agree.
Yeah.
We responded quite well. Second half, I think we were a little bit off it, but City were just controlling the game. It was game management from City. Shout out to Harry in the comments. He says, on the first day of the holiday, I had to sneak off from the missus for 5 minutes for a bit of turf cast. That's what we like to see.
Love that.
Well done, Harry. And Graham 907. None of us have mentioned Dara. How do we feel that Dara played? Dara O'Shea was rock solid, excellent on the ball, up the Clarets. He says, I thought he played very well. For someone who's come in. His teeth, though, you can see him a fucking mile away, can't you? What are you doing with them gnashes, mate? You need to get a refund on them. He came in and I thought he played well. Nathan, how do you think he played?
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's his own downfall, I think, how good he was. He sort of just slotted in like he was always been there. He's played that well, actually, that I genuinely forgot he played the game until that comment has literally just come in. And I think that's more of a compliment to him than anything, that he didn't look out of place. You know, he didn't do anything to make me go, oh, you know, what's he doing there? So, yeah, I'm very impressed. And like that partnership looks really sturdy. I think Bayer and O'Shea, I think that on that side, they looked like they covered each other really well. And when Bayer stepped in, you know, O'Shea dropped back. You know, it was nice to see that. But yeah, I don't think he did out wrong, did he? Like I say, we're playing against Erling Haaland's absolute freak, innit? So I thought all that back line, they give him a good go, didn't they? They didn't give him too much space to run in, and the one-on-ones was good. Yeah, like what you said, Sam. I think what you said about Koleosho not going missing. A lot of players can against City. None of our lads, but nobody in that team went missing. Like not one person shrunk. So yeah, very impressed.
Yeah, Sam, your thoughts on Dara?
Yeah, I'd go back to transfer show. You see, I was one of the only people that said he was going to come in and should slot into that back four. You're not captain of West Brom at 24 years old for nothing. Yeah, you're in the Championship, but to be a captain at 24, you have to have something about you. They didn't want to let him go last year when we were in the Championship because they didn't want to send somebody who was way too good for that league to a direct rival. Now we've made the jump up. We've brought in a brilliant player. He's a good ball player, which I didn't actually think he was. I genuinely didn't think he'd come in as a ball player. I thought he'd just be a defensive kind of stopper and sweep everything up like Taki was, but he's very comfortable on ball. Couple of times where I did think, and this isn't just him though, this is all the defence, where I thought there were a couple of times when we were trying to play out the back and I thought, on another day, that pass doesn't go through his legs and that pass doesn't go around.
I remember that where it luckily went through his legs. Yeah, good point.
So on another day, it could have been, and I'm not. Performance was still good, but on another day, we get punished for things like that. So those things need to trickle away, but company will know that as well.
Yeah, we're not going to get pressed as well as City would do as well. They like you've got two playbooks that are pretty much identical. You know what I mean? They're going to be able to cancel each other out, so they know each other's triggers. They know each other. So I still think we played it out from the back really well, considering the players' styles were pretty much. Identical. They interlock so well. Like what we did in attack, they did in defense. It was so. Yeah,
it's two very similar styles with one team that spent 360 million pounds on the entire team and one team that spent 480 on just defenders.
That stat, did you see that, Joe? The stat on Sky Sports that they put on.
I think it was Viz's. I think Viz's tweeted it, I saw it there. Yeah. And this is us like now spending money as well. That just shows how mind-boggling that is. We actually spend money now.
If you take 120 million pounds from this transfer window off of it, we should
Daniel Johnson says Al Dakil needs a bit of praise. Give us a chance, mate. We're coming to him. But,
I know. It's going to be a long one, this one.
He played well as well. A lot of people gave him man of the match shouts. We'll get on to man of the match in a bit. But he played very well. Probably my pick of the defenders, if I'm being honest. But we already know what he can do. So that's why we kind of skimmed over him. But yeah, thoughts on Al Dakil? Sam, we'll start with you.
He's rapid, isn't he? What's going on? Why is he burning Kyle Walker up wing? No, he's the profile of player that companies look for. A ball playing comfortable, very comfortable in both sides of the game, versatile. This is the thing that I think I love most about where our team's at the moment is the versatility. Like, you don't even realise some players can play certain places. He played Charlie Taylor at centre-half last year. Didn't make a difference. Didn't lose a game with him at centre-half. Literally, this season we've got Al Dakil and we're like, just play wherever. Go left back, go right back, just float around the midfield. Bayer, if you want to go press into midfield and tackle De Bruyne on halfway line, go for it. Like, that type of thing I just love. And it's, again, we never like to go back to the regime before and moan about the regime before, but isn't it just brilliant to have these kind of headaches about can Al Dakil play right? Is he centre half? Is he dropping in too much? Like, we played City, we lost 3-0, but there's still so many positives to take. Whereas a normal drubbing, like I saw that Richard Keys post, and he's like, could Tarkowski and
don't even give him airtime.
What do you mean, can Tarkowski? We conceded 41 goals with Tarkowski and me. What are you talking about? Regardless of how good they were for us, you can't define any of our football on a game against City. But yeah, Al Dakil, brilliant, very good on right back, very good at centre half, quality player, fits company style, and I just think
he's the pick of the and we signed Al Dakil and Ekdal, didn't we? That January transfer window. Ekdal's very good, and I think he will be capable, but I think his pace lets him down a bit. Whereas, like you said, Al Dakil's rapid, and that's where he comes in better. Nathan, I'm sure you'll echo them sentiments from Sam about how well Al Dakil played.
Absolutely, like I said, there's nothing more to add about Aldakiel. I just want to more talk about the versatility of players. Like you just mentioned Ekdal there. It's horses for courses, isn't it? Like that game on Friday required pace, power,
Yeah.
like discipline, and Aldakiel had that. Next game might require Ekdal, where it's a bit more sturdy, a bit more rigid, a bit more aggressive, just to break things up. It's all gonna I'm just pretty much gonna repeat what Sam says, but to have this as a headache, like we've never had this, like I've said that line for about fucking 6 months now, that we've never had these problems with, I say problems. It's exciting. It's so exciting to see where this team can go. And Company said it after the game, didn't he? That it's scary how far they don't know how far they can go. Like he said that himself on the club channel. So having players like Aldakiel that can do one job excellently, to then have Ekdal sat on the bench that can do another job excellently. Like we've never had that. We've just had a starting 11 that can do a job pretty good, and then that's it. Whereas now we've got players that can do what there's asked of them excellently. So Aldakiel did his job on Friday night, and he were brilliant again. It's absolutely superb. And whoever steps into that position will do another good job as well. So
there'll be some fans out there that still want four goalkeepers on some bench.
Yeah. That's the problem. That there's a mentality among some of the older Burnley fans that you'll never change, and they'll always go back to me and Tarkowski. Just like I know that we don't want to give Richard Keys the airtime that he craves, because that's the only reason why he tweeted it. Yeah. But I remember a while ago, I think again I said it in the full-time reaction, that he tweeted about Everton finishing above Liverpool. I think the season that Liverpool went on to finish like second with like 105 points or whatever they did, and Everton finished 17th and just stayed up by the skin of the teeth. This is going to be another one of them comments in 2-3 years' time, where I think when we're knocking on the top 10 of the Premier League, when he's talking absolute shit and Everton are struggling in the Championship, with Tarkowski probably still there. I have nothing against Tarky, by the way. No. If Everton do go down, I would hope that he leaves and join a better club. Hello to Clarets Zone. He says hello in the chat. Mark Green says, you lot played well on Friday. You'll be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine, mate. Don't worry about it. It's just City. I want to get on. In fact, first, we'll do man of the match shouts, shall we, before we start going to ins and outs of signings and stuff. I'll give it Lyle Foster. I thought he played very, very well. And I know he's like a deep lying centre forward. So goals will be not few and far between, but not as often as we would like to see from a forward. But he played very well in that deep lying centre striker role. Linked up very well with Amdouni and the like, and played very well. Looked strong. Nearly scored, to be fair. Who did he beat with that run? Was it? I don't know.
It were it were, what's he called? Akanji.
Mm-hmm. Was it?
It were Akanji. Yeah, we just nipped in front of him. Yeah,
and then bent it in far post. Nearly. Yeah. That's what he was trying to do. Thought he played very well, and it's mainly because of yes, I'm probably being a little bit not lenient with him, but I'll use the word lenient, but because of the stick he got last season, and and even though I was defending him, I was slightly worried in the back end, thinking, "Oh, Premier League, will he be good enough?" I think he's shown that if we get someone to chip in with the goals, he would have a very big part to play in that role. And hopefully it's Amdouni, because he played very well as well. Nathan, your man of the match, please, mate.
Anna Saruri. No, I'm joking.
You said it now, you can't go back.
Absolute reducer, by the way, on Kyle Walker. Fantastic. Just to caveat that, I do think it's a red card. It's a honking challenge, and he needs to rein that in a little bit. But anyway, I'll probably I'm going to give it Foster, but I think Amdouni's a close second. First game of the season, first game in the Premier League. Could say that for pretty much half the team, but Amdouni were class. He broke the line so well, and every time he got the ball, the ball just stuck to his foot, and it looked like there was some magic gonna happen.
Ball control is insane.
And it just looked like it just something. He was going to create something. I'm probably only going to get slaughtered for this, but he felt like a bit of a Benson 2.0. You know what I mean? He just felt like a little bit of just a
Zeki Amdouni once more.
A little refined. Like, don't get me wrong, Benson good, and he looked good when he came on, did Benson as well. But I think what Benson doesn't do is that break the lines thing. He sort of has that one. He has that one playbook, and it works really frigging well, doesn't it? So, but
I kept shouting when he had the ball down the left. He's going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to do it. But no, honourable mention to Amdouni. I think he were a close second, but Lyle Foster has to get it for me. Just I think it's a tough ask to come to a new country on his own. He had the issues, and then he's dug in and he's waited and waited and waited. He should have been in that Championship team, and he's took his chance, and now he's starting at Premier League, and he didn't look like he didn't belong there, which, you know, he looked like he should be playing at that level. And I hope a few people sort of eat the words just a little bit, just when, you know, trust company, just he backed him, didn't he? That's not a dig at you, Sam. You said
Oh, it definitely
positive
was,
things.
Nathan. It definitely was. I seen you looking at him when you said it.
There's people on Twitter that genuinely like have a hatred for the guy. Like, I don't get it. Like, he just seems like a really nice guy. Like, he wants to work hard, he wants to try, and if he's wearing that Burnley shirt and he's putting in that shift against one of the best teams in the world, he would go far for us. He would really, really will, and he'll become a fan's favourite by end of the season, I'm telling you.
Did you see that video I put on Twitter yesterday?
I know.
He was on his settee. It's like, mate, just sit up. What are you doing? This guy's like,
you see somebody do a voiceover of it.
No, someone's done a voiceover.
Someone's done a voiceover of it, and he's just like sat there like this, and like someone's doing it. Oh, the voiceover player. I'll try and.
You have to find that. Yeah, no, not to throw any rumours out there, but he looked off his trolley, didn't he? Looked like he'd had a really nice afternoon, didn't he?
Yeah, get your comments in for the man of the match. I've only had one comment so far. I remember I did forget to say get your comments in. I just thought that people would start commenting their man of the match when we started talking about man of the match. So get your comments in for the man of the match now. Tell a lie, I've had 2 comments. So Graham 907 says Foster. Mark Rampley, I presume you've just spelled Mark wrong there with A and S next to each other on the keyboard. He says Zeki for me, but good performance all round. Sam, your thoughts on the man of the match? Who are you going to give it to, mate?
Yeah, Zeki. Like the 2 really, really big chances that we had were the penalty shout and the one where Rodri came in with the most world-class tackle I've ever seen in my life to stop him scoring. Like, you know, the kid is literally he got the ball in DM, turned back, skinned Kevin De Bruyne and got a foul. Like that. Instantly, that was like 4 minutes into the game, and I was just like, that's it. That is brilliant.
Yeah.
And then obviously creating those chances with the press, he was in the right place. So when like Kolasholo won the ball back, he was there, literally on the last man, like, right, play me through, quick, go. And that is the link up that we want to see. We want to see it where it's like, right, we've won the ball back, go. Like, we don't want to see it where it's like, win the ball back, turn back, play it to the defender, play it into midfield, back to the right back. We want to see, like, we've won it, right, I'm here with you, play it to me and we'll do it together. And the initiative that he showed as an attacking player to get on the ball and try and create chances and create his own opportunities was brilliant. So I just think fantastic. Also agree with that, though. Haaland probably is man of the match.
Yeah, we can't give it a City player. Look, I don't even know why I put it on screen. Anti's being mischievous as usual. But go on, Nathan, sorry.
No, it's just a little side note. It was, I mean, I'm probably going to sound like a little PL fanboy, but it was so amazing just watching Haaland at Turf Moor. Like, I'm just like, this is why we wanted to be back. Like, this is why we wanted to be in the Premier League. Again, when we went down last year, a lot of people went, "Oh, better at Championship anyway, isn't it? We'll win more." No, fuck off. Like, I want to watch the fucking absolute best of the best up at the Turf Moor. And Friday night we were served up even like 25% of the best watching Haaland. It was a nice moment for me just watching Erling Haaland run about for a bit on turf.
No, I agree. You want to be at the top table, and Clarets are dining at the top table right now. But other people are feasting. We need to start feasting.
I know.
Don't know why I did that link like that. I felt it sounded good. But there was a few comments online. We've mentioned Richard Shags' daughter's mate's Keys already. And a certain Burnley fan as well was sort of like saying, "Oh, yeah, I agree with you." Do you think we will be fine? Sam, I'll start with you. I still think we'll be fine. We should have shown plenty enough last season to say that we're going to finish above the likes. I think for me, we'll finish above Sheffield United, Luton, Wolves, Everton, probably Fulham, potentially Crystal Palace. I thought West Ham would struggle, although I think they won yesterday. I can't remember. Drew with Bournemouth. Bournemouth's another one, actually. I think there's a lot of teams we can finish above. I just can't see us going down. You can clip this up, Blackburn fans, if you're watching, because I know you're all pathetic and watching on a Sunday morning. But I think we'll be fine. There's plenty of dross in the league, as we said earlier, and I think we'll finish above 4 or 5 of them very comfortably. Nathan, do you think we'll be fine?
Absolutely. I'd say I've no doubt in my mind that we're staying up in this league. I genuinely have no doubt. I had no doubt before the season started, and now I have less than no doubt after Friday night. Like, we look so good with, and And what Company keeps saying after the game, after the game, he said, this team do not know how good they're going to get. Like, I'm not saying that we're going to go on and get Europe first season, but if he's already in the belief that this team is getting better, and and it says on the documentary, we're probably going to get referenced quite a lot over the next few months. Documentary, he says, every time we go back out on that pitch, we're going to be a little bit better. We'll come back in and we'll look at it, and then we'll go back out and we'll be a little bit better. Like, I am just proper on the absolute like Company hype train, and just whatever, as long as he's here with this group of players and this direction that we're going in, it is exciting, scarily exciting how far we could potentially go. And it's so I have absolute zero doubt we'll be fine. There's, like I say, there's 5 or 6 definite worse teams than us, and I do think we might actually hand out a few beatings this season, which is something that we've not been able to say at Premier League. We've just been getting by and scraping wins, and I think we are going to dish out a few beatings and a few humblings this season. I really do.
Yeah, I'm hoping. All these tweets have been bookmarked, by the way. I'm hoping to be able to come back to them in a few months and just be like, Paddy Power, really? What were all that about? Well, now you look like a right dick.
Video.
Sam, your thoughts? Do you think we'll be all right?
Just really quickly to go back to what Nathan said as well, though. Just very quickly. When you're talking about Company and while he's here and that type of thing, like, I completely agree with that. But I think there's a bigger picture side of that as well, which is when he goes, we know what we want. Yeah, there'll be a plan. We know what we need to bring in. So from that documentary, I don't care what anybody says. The name that is at the start where he says, but he's very similar to Sean, is Chris Wilder. Yeah. That is 100%. The person that is about. Yeah.
You can bleep the name out as much as you want, but when you're leaving going, he's too similar to Sean, it's obvious who he means in that.
Exactly. So I think that's a huge plus. Like when we do lose Company.
Sorry for the impression, Alan, by the
way. Like we know the direction we want to go in. Like when we lost Sean, it was kind of like, what do we want to do? We need a new team. At least we've got that. On the side of staying in the Premier League, I think I'm one of the only. So I do think we'll stay up. Like there is a lot of dross in the Premier League. Sheffield United, Luton, Crystal Palace won't be as good without Zaha this year. Wolves look like in free fall mode. Bournemouth will be better, but I still think they'll be down there. West Ham, they drew yesterday, but I still think they haven't replaced.
Yeah, they need to make signings quickly.
Everton
need a striker. If Everton bring a striker in, I think they can move forward. If West Ham replace Rice, I think they can move forward. But I don't think they've been fanning about all transfer window, pair of them.
Yeah. Well, this whole discussion changes, doesn't it? Come the end of the transfer window. If West Ham go out and get Maguire, go and get McTominay, Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse has that been done?
Ward-Prowse is there, I believe.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse. So like, if they go out and get them, and then a couple more, like West Ham will probably creep away. The only thing that might drag them back is having Europa League. But like Villa, for me, I think I'm not. Don't want to get clipped up with saying this, but I do think they're going to have a bit of a difficult season. Like they've just had a humbling off Newcastle. Like I'm not being. They just had a massive humbling. I think they're going to be piss Irish.
We're a perfect American accent.
I know.
Although I do love the way Americans, and I was on an American podcast the other day, a City one. JJ Watt says it all the time. Alan Pace says it. It's the way they say Premier League. I love it. So we're in the Premier League. That's the Premier League. I love it. That is the best thing that they say.
Yeah, no, I think like we're going to be, but I can't remember what I was saying now. But no, I think there's going to be teams that are going to surprise. Like I do think Bournemouth are going to be a surprise package this season. I think that manager's really exciting. That's really exciting. They that team he had in Spain, they ran a lot harder than everybody else. They worked really, so I think they're going to surprise a few. But there is going to be teams that drop down into that mix that are going to be pretty deep. So I am confident that we're definitely going to stay up. Whether how tight it is or not, I don't know. But I'm confident that I think the gap will start getting bigger. And I think there'll be 5 teams cut off. I think pretty early on. I really do.
My only slight worry, and it's only a slight worry, and it's just because of my years of watching football. Is I remember when Norwich came up in like 2017, 2018. They were one of the last teams that came up with the same type of mentality, like attacking football, absolutely walked to the Championship, did really, really well. Came to Liverpool, first game of the season, lost 4-0.
Yeah.
Won about 6 games all season. Like
the problem with that Norwich team is they didn't improve it. They came up to the exact same team that came up, which he wanted to keep that cohesion, and I think that separates great managers from really great managers. That they can accept that they built a team that goes, great managers go, they've got me what I needed, so I'm going to put my faith in them, and they're going to give me another 10%. The really great managers go, that were great, see you later. Is the next great thing, you know what I mean? And it's clear as day that that's what company's done. He's gone, I love what you guys have done. The fact Josh Brownhill was on the bench, like, he was integral last season, and immediately he's gone, on bench, lad. Sorry, pal. Next. You know what I mean? There's no sentiment in it. It's just cutthroat, winner's mentality. And I think that'll get us them extra 15 points this season over them teams, I think.
It is a positive thing to have the amount of players that we have. The depth of the squad is brilliant. Like, for example, we started the game and I thought the starting 11 was really good. And then we had Zrury, Benson, Brown, like all these players to come on. That was amazing. We're still in the market for other players. Devastated about this Luka Bacchio. I'm actually, he's a really good player. He's a versatile player, left wing, right wing. He can play full back if he needed to. He would be a miss as a signing.
We've still got Ramsey to come in. That's like pretty much done. Teller will be coming back to play for Burnley, so that's another player brought in.
I really hope so.
He's coming back. I'm not even. I'll hang my head on line. He's coming back. If Nathan Teller is not a Burnley player by the transfer window, I will be astonished. Like, genuinely astonished. That's clipped up. That's me on Saints Twitter for the next 6 weeks, isn't it?
I'd have looked away then, just so I'm not part of it.
We'll see. I do think we'll what's the word? Ramp it up in the last week of the window. I'm putting
every team will. Every team will.
Last week of the window.
It's going to be chaos. These last 3 weeks are going to be chaos in the transfer window because not a lot of teams have done enough business. So it's going to be absolute carnage. And you're probably going to see some ridiculous transfers as well, like really bang average players going for like 30, 40 million. You know, it's going to be.
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, Caicedo's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not a good footballer. He is. But what are they quoting that 110 million? Like, what on earth has gone on? Like,
and he's spitting his dummy out, not wanting to go to Liverpool and going, go to Chelsea. Like, who cares? Like, you're going to get a massive payout.
Unless he wants to stay down London. It must be a London thing. It must be a London thing. Oh, here we are.
Stan the man's here.
Come on. We're losing this. Come on. No, we've lost.
He's saying hello,
Stanley wins
and then
anyway.
you can go.
Stanley wins anyway.
Say hello.
Sam's going to go and get his teddy. Hello.
Right. Say hiya.
No.
Say hello.
There he is. Bertie B's here.
Good lad. Good lad. What the hell? Hey, look at that. Oh, we've all got someone.
The missus needs to put her shoes on before she went out.
Apologies to those listening on the podcast. That would have been absolutely. You wouldn't have had a clue what was going on, basically.
I'll clip it. Don't worry, I'll clip it.
Nathan brought his son on stream, and I thought, well, I'm not being outdone. I have a dog, but I was outdone because Stan wins that. I do want to win. I do want to chat about this. Danny Ward, a comment from earlier. Apologies, Danny, if you've already left, and we are now talking about your comment. But we have brought it in. It says we'll be fine this season. What do you guys think of Sander Berg? That's not the bit I want to talk about. We've addressed both of them. It's this next bit. Lots of Sheffield United fans replying to my tweet saying that they got a better deal with Hamer. Now, what do we think? Because obviously we were in for Hamer, and we were in for that other guy that they've signed. We've then just randomly gone and got Sander Berg. This is another one of them transfers, by the way. It's just come out of nowhere, weren't it? This Sander Berg one. And then the two ones that we were rumoured to be after then go to Sheffield United. Do we feel that we've got the better part of this deal, or do we feel that Sheffield United have got the better part of this deal? I'll start with you, Sam, because you're already shaking your head. So you've obviously got
red from the chin up.
So it's the weirdest situation where I actually think both teams have won. Like, and that's going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but he has a year left on his deal. We've got him for £12 million. Sander Berg, if he said he wanted to stay at Sheffield United, those fans would not have batted an eyelid. They love Sander Berg. So let's not get it twisted from their perspective. If they're sat there saying, we've had a better deal, shut up. You haven't had a better deal. We've had the same deal. You've gone and signed some unknown quantity from the Belgian league in DM to cover his spot. And then you have spent the money on a very good player in Hamer, but we also received your very good player. So I think we're both in the exact same position where we've brought in someone better who makes us better, and then so have you. So, Hamer's a very, very good player, and I think that's some fantastic business.
Yeah.
The other chap, we were linked to him, but I'm not going to pretend I know all about him. I don't. But we've brought in
an FM nerd like you. I thought Matt know a lot about him.
I did have his team of the season card on FIFA 2 years ago, but other than that, not a clue. And I never
to be fair, it's most people. So like, if they have his card on FIFA or they've bought him on FM, they're like, I know everything about him. It's like, no, you know the virtual him. You don't know anything about him.
Yeah, but I think us signing Sander Berge is still a coup regardless. The guy was linked with teams like Chelsea and stuff like that in the past for 35, 40 million pounds. We've got him for 12. He's only 25. He's a great player. So, both teams won. And I don't want to start beef with Sheffield United fans. Every single time...
Mate, they've started it.
They've already started it. Don't worry about it.
Every time we buy a player or try and buy a player and you post something about it, I got caned the other day by Southampton fans just for saying Teller is loved by Burnley fans. Are like, we love him more. You don't love him. Shut. I'm like, whoa. Good signing.
Jordan, I'll get your thoughts in a sec, Nathan. Jordan in the chat says, I think we've got what we needed out of the two. Hamer is smaller and similar build to Cullen, he says in a different comment. Berg has the height that we need and the strength that we need. I agree with that. And Danny Ward is still here, as he says. He says, still here. Interestingly, they were saying that Berg is not as aggressive or good at heading, but I think he'll work perfectly in our system. I agree. Like he has the height that we need, but we don't. The ball isn't in the air that much for us, but you can see that he's gonna be the flat track bully of that midfield that we need. But Nathan, your thoughts? Not on Berg himself, but on the fact that Sheffield United think that they've got a better deal, or so they're saying.
Well, I don't want to get clipped up. I don't think we needed Hamer because we've got other players other players coming in. We've got Ramsey coming in. We've got versatile players that can go into that midfield. We've already got Browner. We've already got Jack Cook. Like, on paper, before Burge was even an option, Hamer was like, yep, get him done. Me and you have sat on a transfer show, aren't we, Sam? Like, talking about, like, we spent like 15 minutes, like, losing our minds of how good of a signing it would be. But when you bring someone like Berg in, I think he's what we needed. We needed a bit more height, I think, and I know I don't want to compare to City, but there was a couple of corners when I was like, Jesus, look at the size of them. Like, every single City player is like 6+. You know what I mean? And we did look quite small, but then there was just Sander Berg like above everybody else. So, like Sam summed it up perfectly. I think both teams have got the best deal for their team. They've lost Sander Berg, they've brought Hamer in, they brought the other lad in. Have they brought Hamer in yet, or has that been done?
Yeah, they brought him in like at midnight the other night.
Right, okay. I think I missed
that. That might be why you missed it.
But good signing. Like, we've got a good signing, they've got a good signing, but our transfers as well are like ridiculous. We'll be linked with 25 players and then go and sign one player that not even one journo is linked to. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, was Hamer just a play to Sheffield United to go, we're gonna get him if you don't, don't let us have Sanderberg. Then they'll lose him for free at end of season if we we don't know what goes on. Was it a play? Was it a clever bit of business to say, we're gonna go get Hamer if you don't let us have Sanderberg, sort of thing? And Sheffield United probably wanted and needed Hamer, so good deal all around for both, I think. And I think Sanderberg looked good. Just needs that fitness topping up, doesn't he?
Yeah, I agree. I'd be interested to see him against lesser sides, but everyone in the world is a lesser side. But, the mid-table to lower end side, I'd be interested to see how he gets on there. But that's the same with all of them. Even Zeki Amdouni, you can see how well he played, but he was restricted because he was played against City. So I want to see him against your Lutons, your Sheffield United, your Wolves, your Evertons. We might find it quite difficult against Everton in the fact that, they'll just sit on the edge of the box. But
narrative as well. Absolute narrative all over that game. I'm going to hate it.
I'm not
to be fair,
no.
I'm not looking forward to it because I think we will get dashed, but that's a different debate. We'll discuss that closer to the time. However, with the way that they've started and the fans already abusing their players online, which I loved is the wrong word, but there was a particular Everton fan that were giving all the Burnley fans shit for the stuff that went on the other night, and then soon as they're abusing their own players, and those in glass houses shouldn't really throw stones, so have that, you dick. The way that they've started, and I was listening to 5 Live on the way home from work yesterday, the talk show with Savage and
Oh yeah,
Chris
Sutton.
Sutton. And Everton fan rang up. That's all on Dystad. Don't want him here. Don't want it. Started already. One game in. I'm not sure really.
But you can go back.
They started the same team, and the only changing it is Ashley Young. Like you're not going to do any better. That's not.
They just don't have a striker.
No.
They've got Calvert-Lewin, but he's made of glass.
Yeah.
And when you're playing Morpay, I wouldn't have Morpay in a League One team. He's dross.
But you can go back a few shows that we've done, and we've said the same thing, that Everton fans will not have the patience for Sean Dyche. Like we had the patience for him because when he first signed for us, we had fucking nothing else. Like we did, we were just, I don't know what we were just floating about, and then we gave him the time because of what it did for us. Like Everton do not have the time. Like Everton are swirling around the fucking relegation hole. Like
he's not the
Sean Dyche isn't he's not a relegation specialist. He's not a survival specialist. Like a lot of people will try and clip him up as that. He's not the man you bring in to firefight. He's the man you bring in to build up, get a good style of playing and build lads around him. And we said this weeks and months ago on these podcasts that Everton will not give him the time and they'll get beat first game of the season and they'll turn on him. And it's happened already. Like, might not be the majority, but it's happening. It's starting.
Yeah, it's small. Big fires always start small, and the small fires there already. Chris P says, we'll just do this one quickly because I want to chat about the red card before we go. He says, have we finally replaced Defoe and Barton midfield with the Cullen and Bird? I don't think we've replaced Defoe with them two. I think they're both very similar to Barton. Maybe, I think, no, definitely not Defoe.
No. But again, we've totally forgot to mention Josh Cullen again. Like how
he just slots in though, doesn't he?
We've not spoken
know what he does.
Yeah, we've been on for 52 minutes. We've not spoken about like our best midfielder. Like he just would. He was so good, and them two are going to be a serious partnership, I think, as well. They're going to really complement each other like massively this season.
They're both they're both very similar, but we're going to need that double pivot role, and I think that we're playing that.
One's got the height, one's not. So like they're gonna make up
like
for each other.
The little and large strike partnerships of the 90s have now regressed back to defensive.
This is the new like Man City not playing with a striker for 9 years. Everyone will be doing this now. Little and large midfielders, they'll be doing it for years to come now.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about the red card. I just wanted to bring that in, Chris, because you asked that and I thought it was a good question. I mean, when I first saw it, like in real time, by the way, I first saw it in real time and I thought, dickhead, that's a yellow. But obviously, I don't realise how high the studs are on it. I mean, I've not watched it back on the actual highlights apart from on the big screen, but I didn't realise how high the studs were. And I was a bit pissed off that Kyle Walker had gone down the way he went down. And then as soon as the VAR check came up and the referee went over, you just know it's going to be a red. Like I've never seen a referee go to the screen and say, no, I'm sticking with my original decision. It's a case of, we think you should give it as a red. We're going to make you save face by looking at the screen. That's all it is. It's a face saving.
Nodding.
Face saving exercise is going to the screen. And they're going, yes, I agree. That's now a red. Like you've just been told to give it a red. Just fucking give it a red. But ultimately, the point I'm trying to make in a very long-winded manner is, yes, it's a red card. Now, I was disappointed at the time. Even when I saw it on the big screen, I'm like, okay, now they're both flying. What are you doing? But then it's just in the heat of the moment. No. It's a red, isn't it? And it's silly from a NAS. And someone said in the comments earlier, it's going to be a miss. I think it is going to be a miss, but it gives Coley Osho a chance to play in that position because obviously Anas didn't start. Although I did think we looked a little better for the second half when Benson and Anas both came on. Because we've just got a little bit more about them, haven't they? As much as we do think that the two lads played well. But yeah, anyone got any issues with the red? Speak now. I think you both think it's a red, don't you?
Not at all. It's a good job we've signed like 25 wingers in it. So.
That's why you did it.
Yeah. I was the same as you. Like I was sat the other end of the other corner of the ground, so it was like quite far away, and I was like, it's just a cynical yellow that he's just been beaten. He's frustrated. Kyle Walker's absolutely mugged him off, and he's just like. And then I watched the replay on the big screen. I was like, Jesus Christ, he could have he really, really could have done some damage to Kyle Walker there. Like I'm not, because I don't want to overhype it and make it a thing, but like he was lucky not to actually really hurt Kyle Walker there, and it was just a silly challenge. And I think Company will address that. He'll sort that out. He'll just be like, look. You've got to sort it out. You sort your head out. You got beat. Just trust your players are going to cover it. Like we'd have had a centre half just coming across to just help shepherd that out. And there's no need to make that challenge. And thankfully, we have got. We are lucky in a good selection of wingers. So thankfully, we can we probably can cope without him for a couple of games. But
Yeah.
I think it'll be a nice little learning curve for Anas, I think, and it was a welcome to the Premier League. And I do think someone mentioned on Twitter actually that I do actually think Zaruri maybe forgot VAR existed. The Championship,
Well,
that's
yeah,
a yellow. That's a yellow.
Yeah.
Everyone's knocked off because it should be a red, and it moves on. Whereas it's a yellow. Ref looks at it, it's now a red, and I think Anas would probably go, I'll slice him down, I'll get away with it, cynical, I'll look beaten, I'll just get it's like a dirty yellow, and it's like an orange card, isn't it, that? And you'll get away with it, but, it's like an orange card, isn't it? It's a proper cliche, isn't it? So I think he might have forgot that VAR exists, because at Championship, you see reducers like that all the time, but no, it's a definite red from me, and he needs to sort that out, I think.
Yeah, Sam, you agree, I believe.
Yeah, it's a poor tackle. It's the way the studs come down as well. It's not just on; it's like on and scrape, and and the way he jumps into it as well, like he does come off of both feet, and then he lands back on his right foot, luckily. But still think it wasn't a great tackle. But one thing that I did want to say before we went off was, going back to the whole, the incident with the lighter. The incident with the fan running onto the pitch, the incident with the booing, the taking the knee. I just wanted to say, just as a disclaimer, that is not all Burnley fans.
No.
Most Burnley fans are acclimatized to this type of situation. We've come to terms with every single part of what's going on. Every single person backs the taking the knee. There's a minority of wobblers that just want to be weirdos and take a big thing out of nothing. Running on the pitch is stupid. Throwing the lighter is ridiculous. And then Burnley getting the red card capped it off. And people want to talk and set and create a narrative about our club and the people that we are. And I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there that not a single one of us, and I can speak for a lot of Burnley fans, do not agree and condone anything that happened in that sense at all.
Yeah, company. And company dealt with it really well. I thought, really, he shouldn't be getting. We've just come off first game of the season.
It was an unfair question.
Journalists have the right to ask that question, and they should ask that question. But I thought company dealt with it excellently. He shut it down, and he basically said, "Look at me, I'm a black manager. Like, have a think about your actions." Like, he didn't come out and like slam. He did that sort of like disappointed parent approach, didn't he? It was like, look at who I am. Look at what you've done. Think about how it not only affect, it might affect the people booing. It probably affects them, which is fine. They do have a right to express their opinions, but they also need to think of the image that it projects onto us as fans as well. It will affect the players as well. Like we've gone from a pretty British white squad to now quite a multicultural, diverse squad with a black manager. On paper now, we're a very progressive club. And I'm not even on paper. I think we are a very progressive club. We've come on leaps and bounds, and these little moments keep just nipping back at us and keep just dragging us back. And the documentary works so hard on that PR image, doesn't it? Like, it works so hard on, we are a great club with great fans that just love the club regardless of who's involved in it. And these little moments on the biggest frigging stage and the biggest night of our season so far,
first game of the season.
Like the whole world's watching, not just Sky, America's there watching, they've NBC, and it is just frustrating. It's just like a kick in the gut sometimes when this stuff sort of happens. And
watching it from home, it was like, and again, I'm not trying to go all political on it and stuff like that, but I was so embarrassed, like, for the people doing it. Like, we're in, times have progressed, and everybody should be, should be seen as what they are and not blasted for it. And I think the taking the knee situation, I just think, it's a perfect display to show the solidarity, and people should reward that. I don't think booing it does anything. I think the lighter thing, I think that's ridiculous. I think that just, like you say, that drags us back so far. And I think we're so much better than that. And I think we deserve to, and even from my perspective, you two might not even think exactly the same, but from my perspective, I wanted to put that out there, that I don't condone it at all. And I am part of that thing even slightly. Yeah. I was very embarrassed about it.
No, I agree. I'm just fed up with it, mate. To be honest. I'm just... That's why I didn't address it on Twitter. I'm just fucking fed up with it all. Like, I'm sick to death of certain fans just dragging us all through the mud. But it is what it is. Like, I'm just fed up with it. It's from the booing to the knee to the chucking the lighter to the fucking... I didn't even know a fan man on the pitch until someone said it on Twitter. I saw it the day after. But yeah, just there's certain sections of the town and the fan base that will always be 20 years behind the rest of us, and it just is what it is. It's just, and I'm just fed up of it. It's just constant, like from the banner to this to the constant booing, and it just winds me up. I'm just sick to death of it. But it is what it is. I don't condone it at all. I'm just fed up with certain people trying to. Because then as soon as I went on Twitter that night, like I said, there was an Everton fan there who I used to get on really well with and used to actually really like Burnley when Dyche was there, and now constantly just criticises it all the time and putting pictures up of the banner and stuff. It's just like, you've done this by dragging his name through the mud and doing the stuff that you're doing. Like, just stop it. And the thing that pissed me off the most is the fact that company had to. He looked not heartbroken, but you could tell he was disappointed when he were answering that question. But yeah, like I said, it's just disappointing. That took the sting out of it. We're all saying in the group chat, weren't it? We just took the sting out of it.
It's sort of ending on like this chat's probably ending on a bit of a down note, but it's right. We do talk about it because it's only going to change by people like us talking about it. Like, we're going to have to take the brunt of it, I think, by publicising our opinions on it, because this isn't. We're going to get fans from other clubs watching. This isn't our fan base. Like, it's not our fan base. Like. It just frustrates. Like I say, I try hard. Every time you go on holiday, you have your chat about where you're from. I'm proud to say I'm from Burnley, and I never want to not be proud to say I'm from Burnley. And thankfully, still at this very minute, there's a lot to be proud of to be a Burnley fan. And occasionally these moments happen, and it just drags us back a little bit. But hopefully that just sort of it's getting less and less, and I think fewer and far between. And I think eventually we'll line it all out. But we just got to keep. When it happens, we've got to address it. We've got to call it out for what it is. So I'm glad you brought it up, Sam, to be fair.
Yeah, Burnley fan 28. I will end it here, but I just want to say Burnley fan 28 in the comments just says they need to make the stance on the knee clearer. Some view it as political. They need to make it obvious it's not. It's not a political thing. It's just
not
obvious.
Political.
We know
it's really not.
It's an anti-racist gesture, and if you then boo an anti-racist gesture, that is a racist gesture.
Yeah. It's a standard solidarity for a situation that we. As people will never ever fully be able to understand. Like we will never face that type of situation. So all we can do is stand and support, and that's literally like every time I'm on the game, I clap through it louder than anybody else. Shove my hands up in air and clap in front of all wobblers that are booing behind me. And like you say, Nathan, as well, like just to put that disclaimer out there, like everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Yeah. So those people behind me booing. That's fine, but all we want to try and do is even slightly change your opinion on it, because if we all came together in the situation, the solidarity makes the situation better. Yeah, of course it does. People fighting against it just creates animosity, and we don't need it. So that was my only point. Yeah. Just stop. Just educate yourselves first. It's not a political gesture. Anyone who thinks it's a political gesture, you need to educate yourselves. And that includes the people in the comments saying it. Yeah. But anyway, I'll wrap it up there. I'm going to the cricket. I'm already 6 minutes behind schedule. Someone's knocking on the door in 9 minutes. I need to go. I've got the beers. I'm looking forward to watching Lowerhouse win the Worsley Cup. I couldn't give a shit on the result, if I'm honest. I'm going for the beers, but I know Lowerhouse will win it because it does class. But thank you, Sam, for coming on. Thank you, Nathan, for coming on. Thank you, Nathan, for all your hard work over the last few days as well, getting the videos out. We've got another fan reaction to come. It's not from Sammy. We're too lazy to do it. It's from Liam Waddington. He's sent one in. Good lad, he's busy. So Chris P, I know you'll be buzzing for that. Always like it when he's here. The new fan reaction will be out soon. That'll be Nathan doing it just before we get to the cricket. But thank you, Sam. I'm only joking, mate. Thank you for coming on, mate. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And if you are in the chat now and you've just started watching, don't worry. When we end the video, it stays on YouTube for you to watch back at your leisure. Or if you'd rather listen to it in the car on a commute, it will be out in town for your Monday morning commute tomorrow morning. But thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And we will see you next time. Goodbye. Goodbye.